No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land, a land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the Land of Enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it with you.
Thanks for watching another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. In this episode, we're exploring central New Mexico. From the top of the Sandias to the Bosque along the Rio Grande, we cover a lot of territory in towns big and small. So let's roll. Today, my friend Heather and I are taking a quick trip to Cache National Monument, also known as Tent Rocks. She's never been out here, so I can't wait to see what she thinks. All right, looks like we're gonna get into the canyon here.
Yeah, it looks like we're really starting to get into the formations.
Look at this tree, it's so gnarly. Look at the roots.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is an octopus. The way the tentacles are almost kind of latching onto the rocks in different areas.
You're right, totally. Cache means white cliffs in the native language of the neighboring Cochiti Pueblo peoples. Oh man, it really gets tight right here.
It's hard to look down where you're walking because you want to look up so much.
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, a million years up, you know? You know, Heather, one of my favorite things about these kind of hikes, because they're so remote, is listening to the deafening silence. You know, you completely forget that we're 30 minutes away from Albuquerque.
And I found out that the only other place in the world that you can see these formations is in Turkey.
Wow, yeah, I did hear that. And who knows, it's like in the middle of New Mexico, you can find something that's truly unique. You only find it two places in the world.
Well, you don't even see it off the highway. You don't see it until you literally get here.
Oh man, just look at these sights though.
Okay, it looks like we're starting our ascent.
Yeah, here we go. Wow, man, it's getting a little steep.
A little bit, but it's actually not too bad.
Oh yeah, the sun's out. Finally get my heart rate up a little bit.
Yes.
So I think this is where we're going. These are the Tent Rocks.
Very cool. Completely different than what we just came through in the little slot canyon.
It's so crazy. Yeah, 5 minutes ago we're in these tiny crevices and all of a sudden there's this huge expanse, and yeah, isn't that crazy? You can see all the different years, the layers on the rock. The Canyon Trail is one of 3 trails at Tent Rocks. At 1.5 miles long, climbing 630 feet, it is considered the most difficult. Almost reached the top. Hey guys, how's the view from up there?
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long, treacherous walk, but is it totally worth it when you get to the top?
Absolutely worth it.
Look at this view.
This is amazing.
Oh my God, how lucky are we to have something like this in New Mexico?
This is, yeah, I can't believe this is here. I've been here for, what, 3 or 4 days?
3 or 4 days. But this is, you know, these are the things that are in New Mexico that people can just do on a day trip.
And I mean, that's actually why I moved here. I wanted to experience new things, and I knew about a lot of the other things, but I did not know about this. This is awesome.
Yep, see, this is the first of many adventures for you and for me as well. And for all those people at home, you definitely want to come see this. Do not take this for granted. Here's some things to keep in mind when planning your trip to Tent Rocks. The National Monument is 40 miles southwest of Santa Fe, 55 miles northeast of Albuquerque off I-25. This is a trip where you want to leave your dog at home. Be sure to bring your own drinking water as there is no running water on site. And now from our Cabinet Secretary of Tourism, Monique Jacobson, here is another New Mexico true treasure.
New Mexico is fortunate to have numerous high-end resorts and spas that will gladly pamper you. But there are times my family is looking for something more rustic. And Spence Hot Springs in the Jemez Mountains is a perfect fit for those times. The fact that there's a decent uphill hike to reach them adds to the feeling that we are really roughing it, that we are communing with nature. Speaking of nature, these and many of New Mexico's hot springs can be clothing optional, so it's always a good idea for the adults to check things over before bringing in the children. At the same time, the hot springs draw some tremendous characters. That always adds to the adventure. Another good piece of advice I got that I like to share is to make sure your kids don't put their faces in or under the water, and certainly don't drink the water. The other piece of advice that might seem obvious but merits noting is to always check the water temperature before letting kids get in. It is generally safe for a soak, but there are springs in the state capable of scalding. Getting the whole family out for a hike, a dip in some great hot springs, and time to appreciate each other and New Mexico adventures can make a memorable day trip. For more information about Spence and other hot springs, or the more luxurious spas if you want that pampering, check out newmexico.org.
And coming up next, New Mexico's oldest farmers market. And now from the pages of New Mexico Magazine. Corrales is a charming village that sits just north of Albuquerque. Situated along the Rio Grande, this quaint community is nestled under the cottonwoods that define the bosque of this region. So what better way to take in the pastoral life of Corrales than going to the growers market? Growers markets are always a good way to tap into the local flavor of a place. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, you got a lot of good stuff here today.
Thank you.
Wow. What's your name?
My name's Erin.
Aaron, I'm Michael.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And the farm is called?
Hip Chick Farm.
Hip Chick Farms. That's cool. Are you guys out of Corrales?
Yes,
Mhm.
just up the street.
Just up the
About a
street.
mile.
How is it selling at this market? How long have you been doing
This
it?
is my 5th season here.
What do you think makes this market so special compared to other markets?
I think the clientele here in Corrales
Mm-hmm.
is something else. These are loyal folks. They are really into food that's grown right here.
Right.
It's like as local gets.
What do we got here?
Well, we got some organic raspberry jam.
Okay,
All our fruit is grown over here in Corrales.
all locally grown.
Here. Yeah, we got our regular jam here. We
Okay.
got our raspberry ginger. We got raspberry chili.
Woo, a little spice to
It's
it.
got a little fire. It's not immediate though. It comes on a little later.
Okay.
Hidden, you know.
Yeah.
Then we got our combo over here with the
chili.
ginger and the chili.
Okay.
It's like both of them together. It's pretty amazing.
Oh man.
Isn't that great?
It like sneaks up on you? Are you Kenny?
I'm Kenny.
Hey Kenny, I'm Michael.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It seems like you guys are the only ones selling beef here. Is it actually New Mexico beef?
This is grass-fed beef, born and raised right here in New Mexico.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm Michael.
Stevie.
Stevie, nice to meet you. Everybody that I've seen around always has a bike when they're kind of roaming through the place. So is that like a normal thing in Corrales when you come to the market?
Yeah, it's really becoming popular, and I think it's a great thing. It's Corrales is just a natural place to bicycle,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of really nice alternative routes. You know, back roads, ditch banks, along fields. You know, a lot of agricultural areas.
So it's the best, would you say it's the best way to see Corrales?
Personally, yes, I'm a cyclist, so I would say that's the best way to explore Corrales.
I think Stevie just planted a seed. I may have to stop by his shop later to pick up a bike. But there's still more of the market I want to experience before I leave. How does the market play to what the Corrales experience is?
It's really grassroots and about the people in the community. I feel like that's a big part of what Corrales does, you know, with the galleries that they have and the small local stores. It's really community oriented, and they want people to come and enjoy the culture of Corrales and
Right.
history. And
After talking with Shane, I decided I needed to check out some of the local shops and galleries. And in this small community, you don't have to go far when you want to pack it all in. Classic World Oriental Rugs and Kilims has a stunning selection of rugs, and they're happy to lay them out for you. Corrales Bosque Gallery is a local artist co-op and a great place to pick up a gift for yourself. And just a couple doors down is Ambiente, showcasing Mexican folk art and housewares. And a little further down the road, many treasures can be found at Etc. Consignment Home and Gifts. After all that shopping, it's great to have Hannah and Nate's right next door where you can grab a hearty lunch. Part of the charm of Corrales is the emphasis on small and local. You won't find any chain restaurants here, and Hannah and Nate's is just one great example of a great Corrales mom and pop eatery. Now that I've got some food in my belly, I think I'm ready for that bike ride. So I head to Stevie's Happy Bike. Hey Stevie.
Hey.
How are you?
How you doing?
Good,
to
good.
see you.
Look, after talking to you at the market, I kind of felt like I needed to come see Corrales by bike, so I wanted to come rent a bike from you.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so are you going to be riding within Corrales?
Yeah, I was figuring like the acequias that are around. I heard that's really
okay.
gorgeous. The cottonwoods, it's kind of shady.
Yeah,
and
it's nice. There are dirt trails, paths, and ditch bank system to explore.
Perfect. You signed me up from the get-go, so I want to actually jump into it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Come on in.
All right, this is for me.
Yeah, so this would be considered a typical Corrales bike.
Okay.
So an earlier vintage mountain bike from the 80s, reliable, simple, durable. So
that was a good decade for bikes.
Exactly. Very good. Yep.
Okay, and I actually like this color too, so it works.
It's a great New Mexico color. You've done your paperwork already, so we're set there. Got a helmet for you for safety. You got your water.
Got my water.
Very important to have water. Be good to go.
Perfect, thank you.
Right.
And I need this too, this helmet.
Yeah, this is your helmet.
Safety first.
Yes, safety first.
All right. The lush and peaceful bosque of Corrales makes for a great getaway. And after meeting with so many farmers, it will be great to explore the pastures they know as home. These fields receive their water through vast networks of acequias, or irrigation ditches, whose history dates back to the late 1600s when the Spanish conquistadors came to the area. Today there are over 1,000 acequias in New Mexico. Beyond their agricultural function, the shade and soft pathways along these acequias make for a great bicycling excursion. Here's some helpful hints when planning your visit to Corrales. Corrales is just north of Albuquerque's city limits, just 20 minutes from downtown Albuquerque. You can visit the seasonal farmers market on Sunday mornings as well as Wednesday afternoons in the fall with live music every week. At Stevie's Happy Bikes, you can rent bicycles by the hour, week, and even by the month. For more great stories like this from New Mexico Magazine, visit newmexico.org. And stay tuned for an old saloon on Route 66. Of all the film and television shows shot in New Mexico, it would be hard to contest that Emmy Award-winning Breaking Bad is among the favorites. And the ABQ Trolley Company's Bad Tour takes fans of the show and visitors of the city on their open-air trolley to see the filming locations firsthand and get behind-the-scenes stories from locals Jesse and Mike, aka Jesse and Heisenberg. If you're a Breaking Bad fan, you know these names well.
Where are the Jesse Pinkman fans at? All right, good. Okay, so we're going to Jesse's house. First stop on the tour, Jesse's house, okay?
Highlights of the tour include the TV homes of main characters Jesse Pinkman and Walter White, as well as the infamous business fronts like the car wash and Los Pollos Hermanos, and many other not-so-obvious stops along the way. This tour is more than just cruising through town taking in the fun of Hollywood on the Albuquerque city streets. They feed you along the way, and there's plenty of stops for photo ops too. And take a stab at the trivia challenge that runs the length of the tour. There are some great prizes to be had for the real fans. It's sure to be an unforgettable ride and a unique way to see Albuquerque. Bernalillo sits just 20 minutes north of Albuquerque along a stretch of road known by many names over the years. From historic El Camino Real to the famous pre-1937 years of Route 66, the town's main street has undergone many changes through the decades. But one of the few places that's lasted the test of time is Silva Saloon. So Felix, tell me about what you remember of your father when he first started this place.
My dad was a bootlegger before he started, where he used to get the White Lightning and take it to the Blacksmith Hotel in Oklahoma City then. And he was a great guy. He died here. I found him here in '95.
So you lived, worked this place.
But he loved it. That's the way he wanted to go. I miss him, and he was quite a man. everything that I know, he taught me. He was a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
I miss the heck out of him.
So if you could see your father today, and if you could see your grandfather today, what do you think you would say about this place?
He's proud of me.
I would say, Grandpa, are you okay with a silver woman being behind the bar? Because that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Did not
My
happen.
mother was
I'm
never
the
here.
only silver woman
My
that's
wife
ever
was
been behind.
never here either.
My grandmother, nothing. So I would ask him, am I doing okay, Grandpa? And sometimes I do. I'm here alone and I'll look at the walls and I'll say, Grandpa, are you happy with me? Come back, tell me. Hasn't, so I guess I'm doing okay. You own a business, you live the business. You are in the business 24/7. You don't let anybody run it for you. You know exactly what's going on. And that's exactly what he trained me to do.
What keeps you guys going?
The people. The people.
I love people. You have to love them.
They are our family. And
They're family. Here, we're all family here.
there are a lot of people that are afraid of the bar because they call it a biker bar. And they don't realize that these guys back here are the bikers. I mean, it's a wonderful place to come in. It's a cheers bar. Everybody knows your name. Everybody gets along with one another.
Yeah, that's the aesthetic in here. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, over the years.
I even tell them, sometimes they come in with a sad face and everything. It's not hard to say good morning. And when they're going to leave, I say thank you and come back.
This is the quintessential bar when you think of Route 66, and I think everybody should come and, you know, see what you guys are all about.
We've been here for 80 years, and there's not very many bars or establishments anymore that are being able to keep it alive for 80 years. I think that is it. And he has a lot to do with it. They love him. And people, old timers that I've met, love my grandfather. So I think that just keeps on, and then word of mouth. They go back to their little towns or their countries or whatever and say, if you're ever in New Mexico, go down to Silva's.
But you know, when they come in here, they feel at home. They feel comfortable. This is a friendly place.
When you come in here, you're family.
Yeah, you're damn right you are.
Before heading to Silva's, here are some tips. This saloon is in the heart of Bernalillo, a town just over 20 minutes north of Albuquerque. Be sure to ask Denise and Felix about the many lores and legends of Silva's. While cruising Route 66, also check out the El Camino Real Antique Store just down the road, or grab a bite to eat at the Range Cafe right next door. And don't go away, we have a ride of a lifetime coming up next. Sandia Peak aerial tramway is a must during your visit to Albuquerque. This tram climbs 2.7 miles over deep canyons and rocky terrain to take you to the top of Sandia Peak. At over 10,000 feet, the breathtaking views are as exciting as the ride up. And I'm not the only one who's looking forward to this experience. This tram is the longest in the country, and it has taken over 10 million people to the top of Sandia Peak since it opened in 1966. The system is an engineering marvel. Supported by only 2 towers, both tram cars are attached to hauling cables, and the weight of the downhill tram car helps pull the uphill tram car to the top. It is truly remarkable. Besides taking in the views, I also had the chance to meet some new people. These folks are visiting from Chicago.
Houses, adobes. Looks like you're in a different country.
Yeah.
Looks like you gotta turn in your passport in the airport and change your money.
It's very different.
Totally different.
Yeah. What made you guys come to the tram specifically?
Yeah, we have friends who live here, and they take us around, and we told them about tram. They said, yeah, that's the place.
It's a must-see.
It's a must-see.
After about 15 minutes, we have ascended 4,000 feet and are almost to the top. And we made it. Getting off the tram, I still had no idea what was in store. I only made it a couple of steps before I had to pause and take in the view. Amazing. I decided to duck into the visitor center and hear from my new Chicago friends what they thought about the ride up.
I'm from the Midwest. I live in the city, so the highest thing that I've seen was going to the top of the Sears Tower. You know,
Right.
and I get a view of the city. I get a view of you know, of like the city life.
The
But
city.
here it's so much nature. It's so untouched. You know, it's so different for me to see this kind of stuff. It's truly breathtaking. Kind of like the beginning of like a Disney movie. You know, they open up like the Lion King credits, like looking throughout the whole thing. It's kind of like that. When I see this right now, it's super interesting. It's definitely awesome. I think people need to experience this to get a full experience of living. I think you need to see something like this. You guys see stuff like the city too, but you know, you need to respect nature. You guys have gained my respect as a state.
The decks on the peak allow you to walk around and take in the magnificent views. And believe me, there's no shortage of them.
One, two, three.
I managed to find a spot away from the crowds.
Wow, look at this view! Hello, Albuquerque.
What a magnificent way to end the day. Here's some tips for taking flight on the tram. The tram is located in the Albuquerque foothills off Tramway Road. The tram makes a trip every 20 to 30 minutes during its hours of operation. The fun doesn't end with a tram ride up. You can hike, ski, or mountain bike from Sandia Peak too. From the mountains to the Bosques, Central New Mexico has it all. So what are you waiting for? Come see it for yourself. As always, I'm your host, Michael Newman. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on New Mexico True Television.